There's more to you than just being a groomer. You have unlimited potential inside waiting to be discovered. Whether you've been a groomer for one day or one lifetime, there are so many skills we aren't taught. Handling and scissoring are only part of it. You want to be successful in business and in life, but to do that, you have to have the right mindset and some business savvy know-how. I'm your host, Cassandra, fear-free certified professional groomer, owner, founder of Club Posh, and pet pro with Pottery. On this podcast, you'll hear from industry professionals and groomers just like you on tips, vulnerable stories, and valuable lessons learned that have helped them through challenging times. Compassion fatigue and the effects of manual labor are real, so it's crucial you have the tools to make the life you deserve. And you can, because you are unlimited. Let's tap into that now.
Oh, sorry.
I glanced and I was like, whatever. All right, so I guess what's this? I'll start. All right, who wants to start? How about? I was just gonna say, yeah, go for it. Okay, all yours. So, for those watching, welcome to the Unlimited Groomer podcast, a special edition. And for you guys, hi. I have a podcast.
Cool.
So my name is Cassandra. I am the owner founder of Club Posh, which is I'm a mobile groomer here in Buffalo, New York. I am the only fear-free certified professional groomer who is mobile, period. Because it's very challenging to do in the mobile environment. There are other fear-free professionals out there, as well as trainers and nutritionists, and even pet parents can be fear-free. So I encourage you to look into that if you're curious about what that means. It's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to answer your questions. So with that, I speak. I'm on the Fear Free Speakers Bureau. I also teach and coach in the industry, as well as launched out there. There's Posh's Memories. I make pet memorials with their hair and their cranes. So it started with a senior pet parent, wanted to do something nice for my client, and it kind of just became its own thing. So that is me.
I'm Sarah. Sarah Heibel. I have been grooming for almost 13 years. I'm a national certified master groomer through the NDGAA, so National Dog Groomers Association. I worked at Big Box for years where I taught, and then have my own mobile also in Buffalo. Yeah, that's me. And I compete also as well in grooming competitions. And then,
she kicks butt.
Oh, and then this is Vader, my heart dog.
Hi, I am Kayleigh Bertrand. I'm a certified professional dog trainer, KA, so known. That actually stands for now. I don't know. I've been doing it for about now. I work in science-based positive. I do a lot of behavioral work and that actually behavioral modification clinics. I'm also the owner operator of Canine Cutters and Derby, so I am a professional certified dog groomer as well. So I have a lot of experience in pretty much every aspect of that industry. So that's pretty. Over the last probably 3 years, I've been really getting continued education, hitting seminars, doing events. Later, we won the People's Choice Award for second place for dog grooming, third place for nutrition, and then this will have a nice little community in my area where I like to offer a little workshops for the community so that pet parents can learn to groom their dogs themselves or maintain their dogs themselves. And today I'm actually taking my first competition. So
Yay.
That's me.
Wait to see it.
I'm Jackie Antonelli. I own and operate Barks and Meows here in Hanford, New York. We groom cats and dogs. I'm also sought out after some of the local groomers, having them to have better understanding on how to handle their cats that come in. We end up also having a lot of dogs that come in that have had bad experiences with grooming, or they have been at the box stores when they hit senior age, and they end up getting kicked out, and then they end up finding us because it ends up being a liability for certain places. They feel uncomfortable grooming senior dogs or behavioral programs, and with our gentle and one-on-one approach, very stress-free there, it makes it a more relaxing environment.
That's nice.
So with that, it's kind of open.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you guys
this
have
is
put
a
your
other
own
questions.
panel, so, yeah. Any questions you have about anything?
I do have a dog that's become, well, two things. He's become leash reactive, and he also has become, what is it called, resource guarding. He has gotten that. He's 3-year-old golden retriever. I got him when he was 1-year-old from an elderly couple who didn't realize he was going to get so big and couldn't handle him anymore, and he ended up getting to be 90 pounds. He's a big golden. But I'm a little nervous that, I can't just grab a treat from him or a toy or something, because sometimes he just starts showing my teeth, and he hasn't bit me, but he's grazed me with his teeth a couple times. It's like, it was a warning, I respected that warning. So I foster dogs. I haven't done it in a couple of years, but I want to be able to do it again, and I have to fix him first, because I'm nervous that he'll hurt, another dog. I did hire a trainer, but I haven't heard from her, so I'm a little nervous about that. But I don't know. I had one session with her. I paid her already, so we'll see about that. But that's a different thing.
So my initial thought, and I know you're a trainer, so correct me if I'm wrong. My initial thought with his big size and with this kind of being more of a newer behavior, have you had his thyroid tested?
No.
I would look into that. The thyroid is connected to so many things,
Really?
including demeanor, size, weight, co-condition, it's emotions, everything.
Really?
So that's something that I would definitely explore.
Okay.
It's actually very common in golden retrievers.
Really?
I have many goldens as clients with thyroid issues.
Really? Wow.
The other thing to piggyback with that, so always any behavioral issues, blood test. Like
Yeah.
go to the vet.
Right.
But just from an energetic standpoint, it's good that you're reading his body language and understanding that. We always hear they sense your fear.
Yes, I try not to.
So it's hard because he's established a boundary with you, and
Yeah.
you're expecting that, but it's also perpetuating the issue.
Right.
So you want to, for yourself, and I think Kayleigh needs to just go with it, but like just for my little input, do what you can to make things as neutral as possible. And all of our dogs, for the most part, have the capabilities of the mental capacity of a 3-year-old human child. So we try to think back, if you have human children, what they might be going through, how they don't interpret things, and come to them with as neutral a slate as possible. Because of them interpreting things differently, any changes in routine can upset them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have contractors coming at home to do work or something like that, that may agitate it.
Right.
But for the most part, an established routine and make things no big deal.
Yeah.
Which means, oh God, I got to get the leash. He's gonna no, we're just going about our life.
I do try my best to hide that fear that little bit of a fear that he does make me nervous sometimes. So I do try my
getting rid of
best.
are two different things.
Yeah.
So like, shake it off.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah,
or
I
like-
do. I do sometimes. If I'm taking them for a walk, I literally do that first. Just try to
A
get
lot
rid
of
of that
dogs,
energy.
a lot of dogs will also do like a little nervous shakeout. He just did a little like play bow. So
Yeah.
they release energy that way too.
Right.
So that's a great thing to do,
Right.
is shake off that energy.
Yeah.
Just like a dog would.
Yeah, so anytime that I take on any kind of behavioral issues that arise with aggression, we always look at it. We always go to that first, clear any medical issues, because it could be so much more than just a thyroid too. Like they could have joint pain, they could have all kinds of stuff going on. And if the blood work comes back clean and normal, then we start looking at the environment. So what are they doing? What's going on? What's their daily routine? What's their structure? A lot of his, unfortunately, could be from what happened that first year of life too, that you have no idea. So we may
he
never
was
know.
created a lot
Yeah, and we
because
may
they
never
couldn't
know.
handle him. So whatever time someone came over or anytime he got
So
to be
he
too
has
much,
poor
they
social
put him in.
skills.
Yeah, he does.
And it became a frustration, and that's where that reactivity comes
Yeah.
from. Is that
He
frustration?
literally looks
He
at me
just
like
does
he-
not know what to do.
Right. He literally looks at me like,
Now what?
well, yeah, he
But you
does. He
don't
looks
have
for
the
me.
tools to
I
communicate
don't.
with him on,
Exactly.
okay, this is how we handle that
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
And that's where usually like I would come in and we'd make a game plan and a whole progress report of these are the things we're going to work on. These are the little behaviors we're going to look at.
Right.
How we're going to handle all these things. So that my job as the trainer is to actually teach you to have the tools in your tool belt
Mhm.
to be able to communicate with your dog in any of those kinds of situations to work them through that. Because the more that you do that with him, the better his behavior becomes because he knows that he doesn't have to stress about those
Right.
situations.
Yeah, he really does look at me for like direction. And I try to give it to him, but
Yeah.
like in those situations, when those situations are going on, I end up usually I turn my back to him because he'll sometimes lunge at me. So I
he's
just turn my back
redirecting,
and I just
Yeah.
try to let him calm down.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said when you introduced yourself, Kayleigh, which is super key in understanding, is often we think I need a trainer because this is beyond me, but we don't necessarily think of different divisions. Just like there's a general practitioner, but then there's a dermatologist, there's an oncologist, like there's different sections.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of different trainers out there, and there's some that there's a lot that I've met in the industry. Now, I've trained all over the East Coast. It's not just Western New York, and I've trained service dogs and rehabilitated dogs, and I personally do a lot of fostering and rehabilitation of puppy mill parents.
Mhm.
So a lot of the older dogs and stuff like that. So a lot of the time, and I've met, like I said, a lot of trainers that will admit, like, I don't know anything about behavior. They can teach you your basic obedience, which is great, but
Right.
that's not going to fix your behavior.
Yeah.
You need the obedience in order to communicate, but
Right.
that's not, but they're not teaching you how to use it.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's a lot of trainers that all they do is agility and rally, and that's a lot of fun and they're great outlets, but that's not going to fix a behavior or address the behavior of what's going on with your dog either.
Right.
Yeah, because I had a client with an old English sheepdog that they were using an obedience trainer for leash training, and there was never a conversation with that about we consider him a fur baby, and that's fine, but he's actually a work dog and he needs proper outlets. And the trainer wasn't being as successful as she would have been had she had that understanding and that knowledge and known. And they were very great pet parents. They were honest and like, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So having that understanding of like specifically sometimes it takes a village. Sometimes it takes a couple different types of trainers. And so that's like super, super key is like making sure you're both on the same page with what your limitations are.
Mhm.
And there's no shame in having a limitation. It's just knowing this is my zone of genius. This isn't.
Right.
And finding that balance.
I think to like piggyback off of that as well. I think that's important. And any pet professional that you go to or seek, right? You have to understand what their specialty is, right? Like not every single groomer understands and knows how to do like a breed standard show trim, right? So if you have a dog that needs a breed standard show trim, you might not go to somebody who doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with trainers as well. You have to understand and know what they're, so it's okay to ask these questions, ask for reviews.
All of the trainers that they follow. What are the tools that they use? Do they stay abreast on the, continuing education and where's the industry going and stuff like that? Those are very, very important things to ask your trainer. Because that'll tell you whether or not that trainer is going to be the right one for you.
So I will tell you it also, and I think I speak for everybody sitting on this. If we love it, what we do, if we're passionate about what we do, and continuing education, they're going to want to stay on top of what is current. They're going to want to do all that stuff, and they're going to want to speak about it.
And they're going to have
Like
answers
if
to
somebody
those
wants
questions.
to come and ask me what I am as a pet professional and as a pet groomer, I have no problem telling you all my credentials because I'm passionate and I'm proud of that.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
So I think that that's important. Any pet professional that you seek out, if they're giving you like one-line answers, it's a red flag a little bit for me. And if they're not willing to speak through and talk through and communicate effectively with you through all those things that you have a concern about, especially pet training, then I think that that's a little bit of a red flag. And I think there's green flags too, right?
Right,
Somebody
yeah.
is saying to you, that's not, like if I had a dog that was aggressive in my mobile, it might not be the choice that I do at mobile, and I might seek somebody like Jackie who has more of an understanding of how to do something, and that's a green flag. If she's telling you that guy can't take it on,
Right.
but has references for you, that's a
I think
green
I may
flag.
have made a mistake because
Yeah.
it was a friend of a friend and she's new and I thought, oh, I'm trying to help a new person with her business, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking with the wrong, I was thinking with my heart more than with my brain.
And I'm totally
Yeah.
up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
If you're seeing behavior issues in your dogs, you're gonna want an established behavior trainer. You're
Yeah.
not gonna want an obedience trainer.
Yeah.
I always like to tell my clients that teaching your dog obedience is essentially like giving a child, teaching them the ABCs, but then not teaching them how to put those letters together and form words.
Right.
Yeah.
Like those are foundational skills.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me personally like you need an established behavior specialist.
Yeah.
And definitely like moving forward, any of the behaviors that he's exhibiting that,
Mhm.
don't put yourself in that situation to make sure that those are still happening because you're making them more concrete. 'Cause
Right.
he's used to your reaction and everything like that, and he knows that
So-
he rules the roost.
So like he also has a hard time when people come over. He is so and he's big and he's so excitable that he'll knock people over.
yeah.
So sometimes I'm doing the same thing that the other couple did. I have to
But
put him
that's not
away
a bad
because
thing.
Not a bad
That
thing.
is part of the plan. It's how you do it and
Yeah.
when you bring them back.
I bring him back out and I tell the people, don't touch, don't look at him, just ignore him until he calms down. But he's just so much to handle.
Yeah.
When he
About it, but as for me, like I don't think the crate necessarily it shouldn't be used all the time.
I don't have the crate
Right,
anymore.
well,
Yeah.
but I'm a huge advocate
Yeah.
of the crate tip,
Right.
right? Especially in situations like your situation.
Yeah, it's how you use
How
it.
you
Yeah,
use it, right?
right,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think the crate, sometimes in the pet world, we think the crate is a terrible thing, but I
Right.
think that there's definitely ways and how to use
Safe
it correctly.
space for them.
Yeah,
Like
he just didn't seem to need it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's
If you
big.
have somewhere that you can, like when they're coming in and your dog's jumping out and they're going crazy.
Yeah.
And at that point too, when you're talking about a retriever, they get very mouthy.
Yeah,
So they could be grabbing people's clothes and arms
Yeah.
and their legs. And
Right.
you're like, oh my God, these people are gonna lose their mind and no one's ever gonna wanna come to my house again, right? If you can leash him and have him with you, or
Yep.
just put him in a different room until he's calm and then bring him back out. It's all about how you do it and how you put it together.
yeah.
Is really,
I have been practicing. Like I put him away for the first, 5 minutes till he hears their voices and stuff, and then I'll bring him out on a leash.
Yeah.
And then depending on the people, if the people will just listen to me and kind of ignore him,
yeah,
he's
some people
okay,
don't.
and I can drop the leash.
People are so much
But
harder to train than
They
dogs.
are,
Yeah,
they
so
are.
much
Like I
harder.
told my friend specifically not to pay any attention, and I turned my back, and she's going, and I'm like, really? So I'm having problems with them, and I'm trying to train them here, and you're following, but whatever.
It's a lot, yeah, like you said, with
A lot.
training
Harder to
people.
train people.
Yeah,
Pretty much with anything and anyone in psychology, like I said, it takes a village, and it's so much more what we do and learning how we need to correct because often we're personifying for them, we're giving our human attributes to them, and realizing that maybe what we're interpreting as being cute and adorable on their end is actually them being like, I am freaking out.
Yeah.
And so learning to properly understand their communication, and it's each one, just like us, we all have our unique mannerisms, but there's also some universal standards. And
Yeah.
so once you learn those with your behavioralist and stuff, like she said, learning to modify your own lifestyle,
yeah,
not just a couple behaviors, like maybe the leash is located in a different location or something like that, like little quirky things. Coming from the fear-free world, it's very much, if you think you're making a change or you think you're doing it slower, find a way to make it half the speed and then half that, and then find micro ways, because their world is so much bigger than ours, and we need to really, really build on that.
right.
Like all the things. Yeah.
That was a
That
great
makes
question.
sense.
And
Yeah.
everything like
Oh,
that.
thanks.
Definitely
Yeah.
reaching out to a behaviorist will
Yeah,
help.
Yeah.
Did somebody else have something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have too many questions.
Hold
No
on.
such
Bring
thing.
him on.
So I've been fostering for 6 years, but
mainly puppies, because my last dog who passed away did not do well with adult dogs. But I've probably made every training mistake possible with him. So since he's a year old now, I got him when he was 5 months old, have a new dog, and I'm trying not to make any of those mistakes with him. And I've learned everything normal, I guess you'd say, the general obedience and puppy things from fostering. So we did everything slow. I didn't bring other dogs in my house while I was working on him to make sure that all the focus was his training and his upbringing. We did basic obedience. We did puppy class. We did small like day school. So it was with our trainer and only about 5 dogs. They do kennel time, walks, and training, and then recess. And I know that between their adolescent stages, I've heard that they can sometimes change their personality and their demeanor, just like people towards other dogs. So we didn't take him to day school. And as a puppy, he really didn't play with the other dogs so much as chase them and throw himself at them, like body slam them so much. So I thought maybe it was like the socialization aspect. He didn't know what he was doing. He was found stray things. So now I stopped taking him during the summer because we took him hiking and we took him all over. But I don't have anybody that has dogs for me to socialize him with. So he kind of lost that dog experience, I think. And then when I took him back to day school, we thought that sometimes it was because I was there, that he was acting funny for whatever reason. But she had him and I left for a couple hours, and he would do a play bow, but then immediately like forget what he was doing and like stiffen up. So I kind of feel like I have a good understanding of general behavior, and that's what I noticed too when I took him to my sister's house and there was dogs on the other side of the fence. He would like run over and then he'd play ball and roll around, but then get really stiff. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. But we also said he is very much reads the room. So if I took him to like the brewery and all the dogs were laying in calm, he is laying in calm. Training class, he's laying in calm. We had a husky in one of our training classes that did the husky things, and then he thought he was a husky and started to like.
He's like, oh, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, they're having things to. I'm doing things too. I guess I kind of like that he understands like how everybody's playing, so I should play, but he doesn't need to do that all the time. Like, how do I hone in on that, start muzzle training him to kind of see what his actual intent is with another dog? Because body language with the trainer I have, and again, like you guys said, she's more of an obedience and general trainer. We're confused on his body language.
What kind of dog is he?
He's an American Pit Bull Terrier.
Okay, so the stiffness may actually be part of their play style. That is, they're
Yeah,
very
he's
stiff
very
and jumpy,
rough and
like
and that's how my other dog was.
Yeah,
too.
so-
yeah.
a lot of people don't always understand exactly what they're looking at. He's play bowing and stuff. So how old is he now?
He's a year and a half.
Okay, so he's finally reached his adult in an adolescence where they change their demeanor. It's actually a fear period. Dogs go through multiple fear periods through their year, through they grow, where their world goes from here to here,
Yeah.
to here. And they're like, holy crap!
And
Like
that's
they may
kind of
have
what
never
we're
noticed all the
seeing,
stuff on the walls, and then all of a sudden they're like, when did that get here?
Yeah.
And
we're
it's
seeing
depending on
stuff like
how
that
things
as
have
well.
handled through those situations.
Uh-huh.
Like I had a dog, she was my heart dog. She's the reason why I have a tattoo. She had an irrational fear of garbage cans.
Yeah.
Because the wind blew and it like fell towards her when she was in a fear period, and now she thinks. And then for the rest of her life, she thought every garbage can was going to fall over.
And he's exactly like that.
yeah.
Exactly like that. He's afraid of. What did we find out? The pen is sitting on the wall because I use it to block off the kitchen to wipe his feet.
Yeah.
And it must have fell at some point, and now he like skates past it all creepy, and I'm like, it's
They're like
open.
that's gonna eat me again.
Yeah.
And that's just it. It can be really small things that we don't even realize have made an impact on our dogs. So sometimes when you always hear people that are like, I don't know why they do this behavior. There's
Yeah.
probably something small that happens
You have no
that
idea.
you have no idea ever happened to them because you're not perceiving things the same way they are. That has now impacted them for the rest of their life. So his behavior with playing with other dogs and stuff, without seeing it, it's hard for me to really
He's
speak
never
on it
shown
too
his
much.
teeth, he's never growled, it was
yeah.
never.
So it just, I mean, like I said, that stiffness could be part of just their play style for that breed. It could be that he's never had follow through, so he doesn't know what comes after the
Yeah.
initiating of play.
Which also brings me to think that he's never had a dog like that.
Right.
So
Or if he did, it may not have been a great experience or it didn't last very long. So he's not really sure what's coming next.
Yeah.
So, and you're saying that he mimics the behaviors around him. Yes, that's great that he reads the room, but also it means that he's drawing his confidence off of the other dogs in the room.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have his own confidence.
No, it's only when
So
I'm
he
around.
mimics whatever is happening because, well, if that's happening and that's good, then I'm going to follow that. Maybe nothing bad will happen to me.
Yeah.
So if
Because
the dog
he
is
is a different dog
relaxed or
without me too.
yeah, and that's our kids are different. When
Yeah.
they're not. Are you kidding
He's
me?
like,
Everyone says my kid's
Yeah.
great.
Right.
He
Yeah.
tears my house
No,
down.
he definitely is more confident when like me or my boyfriend are with him.
Mhm.
But it's like, so bringing it back to like simple changes that we've noticed too is, he used to hate vacuum, like follow me around, growling and barking at it. Fine, continue on. I'm gonna vacuum.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. Now he is shaking, terrified, and runs in the bedroom. Nowhere to me, but
Yeah.
I had not a clue what happened, and now he's like, terrified, shaking in bedroom. I'm like, you were just trying to wrestle me last week for the vacuum.
Has he been groomed
No,
like a bath
no. He had a regular bath, just
with blow dry?
no.
Yeah, so a lot of that is actually probably a result of flooding.
Okay.
A lot of people think that, well, my dog's afraid of this thing, so I'm going to keep walking it past him until they're not afraid of it anymore.
Yeah.
That'd be like me saying, oh, you're afraid of spiders?
Yeah.
I'm just going to
here's
lock
like
you in
a
this room
bunch
with a bunch of spiders.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
And
exposure
eventually you're gonna
therapy
get
doesn't
over
work
it.
the
Yeah,
same.
I just continued vacuuming, and I'm
Yes.
like, I don't know, go somewhere
Which-
else if you're mad about it.
Right, in
Yeah.
your brain, you're like, this is fine, but to him, over time, it's built up that this thing just keeps happening
won't
and
go
nothing's going away. I
Yeah.
can't get it to go away, so
Mhm.
now I'm terrified of
So now I'm going away.
it. Right,
Yeah.
so now
Okay.
I'm gonna go away and hide from it, because
Mhm.
I've tried everything I can to make it go away, and it does not go away.
Okay.
So now he has the opportunity to escape from it, so he's gonna take that.
Yeah.
Because they're either fight, freeze, or flee.
Yeah.
So he went from fight didn't work, well, shoot, okay, then I'm gonna flee.
Yeah.
Very few dogs ever choose freeze. If they choose freeze, there's a whole other
Yeah.
thing
No,
about
he'll
that.
leave. He runs.
Yeah, so he's like, well, then I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can get him more comfortable with the vacuum and loud noises and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a process, you take it over time. Of the vacuum just comes out and he gets good treats, the vacuum goes away.
Yeah.
The vacuum comes out, he gets good treats, the vacuum goes away.
Yeah.
Now we put the treats on the vacuum.
Yeah.
He eats them off the vacuum. Like, you know what I mean? It's a build of progress. We turn it on, turn it off, he gets a treat. Turn it on,
Yeah.
turn it off. he gets a
So I've like
turn it on
done
for a
with,
little
like, the
while.
nails.
Yeah, it's just it's a
Yeah.
build, and there's no timeline to it because it depends on what your dog does.
Right.
You may get a couple of steps in a few days. It may take weeks to get a couple of steps.
Mhm.
So that's kind of that whole process, which
Yeah.
you kind of take that too, and then apply it to other things that are going on too, like you're talking about. He goes to day school, and here's
Yeah.
his structure and all that kind of stuff, but. And he doesn't know how to interact with the other dogs anymore and that kind of stuff, which is great. But you also have to look at the other points of socialization too, because a lot of people think socialization is just playing with other dogs.
Yeah.
That's a very, very small sliver in the wheel of socialization.
Right. Yeah. Look,
So-
we take them to like the Value and Home Depot. I take them for not now because this weather is great, but we go for walks in different areas, and I try to build up that sort of confidence because he did like to. I really think he's very, very based on scheduling and structure, and so he likes to walk in his little area. And so we took him a different route, and he was like,
He
"What
panics.
are we
Yeah.
doing?" So we started doing that a little bit more, taking him his normal one, and then like adding in little pieces and things like that. But I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. I don't, because my last dog was really reactive. I couldn't take him for walks. He was like 95 pounds. It was very
Full on
difficult.
leash, yeah.
And I don't care if it's if we can ever get another dog. I don't care if I can foster anymore or whatever. I just want to be able to take him out in public, walks and hikes, and have him enjoy it as much as I
Have him be a part of the family and be able to do everything.
And
Yeah.
it's great, you know, my mom has the angriest chihuahua known to man. We saved her. And now she's online, so it's getting even worse.
How great.
And she does kind of go after him every so often, and he just like, I don't know what happened, and I'm like, you went in too hot and she can't see you.
Yeah,
So I keep him on a leash and we're gated, you know, we don't let it go crazy, but there's never any aggression. So I think he's just confused and I don't know how to.
Yeah.
So I guess
Just
segues to
redirect
my,
you and move him on.
okay.
You don't make a big deal out of it, because that's not, it has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, we do
So-
like impulse control exercises at home. Like if he sees a dog in the window, I'll just kind of like, hey, and like give him a treat, like kind of redirect his attention. So like you can stare at it, but like come back to me and it's not that serious if you walk by. So like we practice a lot of that and just like, I guess segue to my next question. What are like the right resources to look at besides just Google?
Yes. Yeah, because Googling's fun. You can get all kinds of things on Google.
Next thing I know.
Yeah. What is a good, how do you find the good
I guess
resources?
I'm not scared besides like calling and, you know, for a trainer.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not that.
So if you
serious,
look
I guess.
at a lot of organizations, their websites usually have a lot of good resources.
Okay.
You definitely, whether you're looking for grooming information or training, you're looking at boarding facilities, daycares, that, you know, whatever you're looking at, you want to look at the, you know, whatever pet professional page, if you're looking at some business's individual page, or you're looking at an organization's page that has recommendations for, you know, books or people to follow or places to go, you want to look at them and see what are they supporting. Do they support, you know, are they looking at fear-free and positive stuff? Do they back science, back things? You know, the trainers or places that they recommend, what do they do? So it does require a little bit of legwork,
Right.
but the work up front lasts a lifetime of that dog.
Yeah.
So sorry, baby. Just headbutted himself. So, you know, I'm trying to think of what the name of the website is, because now my mind just went. There's a pet professional guild, but there's more to the name to it. They have a long list of books to read, other people to reference, that kind of thing. Robin Bennett is a good one. She writes a lot of books.
I'm not going on my phone. I have no pen.
No, you're fine.
Because I truly do enjoy training my own dogs. I don't know if I could deal with the people that but like I truly do enjoy, like even when I was fostering like the puppies and just watching them think and create their own decisions, and like I love that, and I'm like I want to do what's best for him, and I have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Part of being a dog owner, but I don't know where to look to get.
So Fear-Free organization, they have multiple branches and they do have a pet parent branch.
Okay.
So
It's
there's
just called
fearfreepets.org, I believe. Or I think it's fearfreepets.org.
Yeah.
Google will be useful if you don't know the exact website for that. It'll come up. But there's all different sections for grooming, for trainers, for veterinarians, for vet techs.
Yeah.
And they do have a section specifically for pet parents who just want to learn how to be better pet parents and understand them better. I don't know what the cost is for that.
Some
but
of it's
it-
free.
there's a lot of
There's
even if you just sign up for the newsletter, like I'm on their speaker bureau and I actually do a lot of free trainings that are just public, like, hey, here's the email, pop on in.
What was the name of that again?
Fear-free.
You're free, okay.
Yep. And it's not just me, there's a bunch of other like veterinarians that will speak or trainers that will speak. So they have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which, like Kayleigh's at was there? Is completely free to the public too. So there's like the two different ways you can kind of get involved and just browse. And
Yeah, because now, I mean, my last dog, like I said, was a disaster. But he also had allergies, stomach issues, so trying to get treats even for training. And then if he even had too much boiled chicken, it was like 3 days of I'm not eating and stomach. So I'm like, I can't even help you. Because you
I don't
eat
even know where to go.
anything. You don't
from
like
here.
anything. I don't know. And I joke that I'm probably a certified vet tech by default now. Yeah. he even had, my vet used to laugh all the time. He had bloody noses for like a month, and usually that's only tumors. And
Yeah.
he just snorted a blade of grass.
Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
Jeez.
We had fun times together.
Like Kayleigh was saying, like whenever you're seeing a behavioral issue, a skin issue, like anything different, first thing,
Yeah.
to get
what we always
the
say
vet,
too.
check them out.
Yeah.
And then what we've finally learned after millennia with humans, we're starting to learn with pets, like, hey, you put garbage in, you get garbage out. Wait a second. The gut plays a big role in a lot of things.
Yeah, they don't
the
feel
natural
good. They're-
and their natural flora and fauna is different than ours. They have
Yeah.
different pH levels. So again, like she said, more legwork on food and
Yeah.
diet and supplements and stuff like that. Like everything from affecting their cognitive abilities to affecting their skin and coat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quick-
because for dogs and cats, about 60% of their immune system is actually in their digestive tract.
Okay.
So that's why allergies are such a big deal to them. Like I might sniffle a mold or, pollen and take advantage of it, fine. But like, if your dog's allergic to grass and they go outside, they're going to chew all their hair off their paws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot that goes on for them. If they eat, they're allergic to something and eat it and all their hair falls out. Like that's not going to happen to us, thank God. But to them it will, and that throws off all their behavior. It throws off a lot of things for them. So anytime you see any kind of change, always advocate to your vet.
Yeah.
I know that the vet industry is very overwhelmed right now because there's a huge shortage of vets.
Yeah.
But you have to advocate. You have to say, no, this is not right. I've waited the 3 days. Nothing has changed. We've tried to eliminate, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to just talk to the vet tech, and that's fine too. I've known a lot of phenomenal vet techs because they have to go through the same kind of certification and continuing education that your vets have to too.
Yeah. That was a big
and
thing
on
why I
that
won't
lane
use my
too.
vet, because they actually have conversations with me instead of telling me what I'm doing.
Yes, and just like that, again, like with trainers, there's different sections of trainers and different sections of groomers. There are different sections of veterinarians. Think of your veterinarian as your general practitioner.
Yeah.
They're not a dermatologist. They actually, and I've attended, I actually completed mini vet school, which sounds really impressive.
I did
And
that, last,
Damon?
yeah, it was the last one, not this past
Okay.
one that came.
Yeah, so I just did it this last one, and that aside, the reality is every vet is saying the same thing. We get about 45 minutes of training on nutrition, about
Yeah, they do
45 minutes
not.
on dermatology, because they have to their credit, they have so many things that they have to have a broad knowledge of stuff that when specific things come up, either the technology's there, but it's so cost prohibitive because we as a society haven't evolved with truly treating our fur babies as our babies.
Yeah.
In terms of, let's get the diagnostics, let's get that surgery. So it's cost prohibitive, so they don't even learn it. A lot of vets were telling me about how they were coming up with literally building their own machines for animals. So we have to give them a lot of credit, but also understand, again, what's their zone of genius, what isn't, and then seek them out.
And to piggyback off of that, again, kind of go back to what I had said, it's okay to say, maybe you're not. It's okay to say to yourself, maybe that's not the vet for me. Maybe that's
Second
not the trainer for me.
opinions.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
not the groomer for me, right? And just simply asking questions and being an advocate for yourself too. Like if you don't get a good vibe from somebody, or they're not really listening to your wants and needs, or you don't hear red flags, it's okay to say I'm gonna bow out of this one and go try to find something else. You know what I mean? I have worked with so many vets, and when they say I'm gonna send you to a specialist, that's not them writing you off. It's I don't know about this, and this guy spent hundreds of hours studying this, so you need to go.
I would rather you try to figure it out on
Yeah,
your own.
totally.
That's a green flag.
Yeah. And I think my vet is really good at being honest about everything. Like they've never been like, oh, has to get this done or has to get that. It's like a whole conversation of the whole
Where are we going?
piece. Yeah.
And I do want to add to something, backtracking just a little bit, just because something popped into my head. You asked about where to kind of go with your resources and what to do. I want to just kind of press really quick because I don't think that the general public knows this, but whether it be with dog training, if you're still looking to do that in person, or even in the pet grooming industry as well, make sure that you are asking questions, which I know that we touched on earlier. But when it comes to dog grooming and training, a lot of people don't have to get specific certifications or training in order to join the industry.
Yeah, I was aware of that. So that made me like way more lenient on anything.
Yeah.
So, especially because I did try a couple trainers for my last dog, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about nothing, but I know that that's probably not right.
Yeah. So I would either Google some good questions to ask or ask her at the end of this and get a list. If you're still looking to do in-person training to continue with that, ask a lot of questions and find the right one for you.
Yeah. I really truly agree that a lot of people don't understand that not every trainer is the same thing.
I don't know how it is.
I'm learning that. I just,
Even like, cause I'm a dog
It's
groomer,
so frustrating.
not a trainer, any person can pick up a pair of clippers
Yeah.
now.
It's a little scary.
It's
It's a little scary.
dogs.
My friend did a wonderful job on her
Yeah.
old dog that now got kicked out of the groomer.
Right, yeah.
So like I have to clip her. I'm like,
You
"You're
just have to
certified."
ask those questions and be an advocate for yourself and
Yeah.
understand. And I don't think that the pet parents understand that we're not licensed.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what is it, dog training?
It's the same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing. So
It's
There's
about
legislation currently sitting, it's probably gonna sit there forever now.
Yeah.
It needs to, it honestly needs to
Yeah.
change, if you ask me. Like, we need to have these certifications.
Jackie and I were having an offline conversation about this the other day, and
That's crazy.
it seems like the market is oversaturated. It is not oversaturated with professionals.
Yes.
Right.
It is oversaturated with non-professionals. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
And like Sarah
Hobbyists.
was saying, hobbyists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
good point.
hobbyists.
That's
And
beautiful.
And something to take note of. Now, money doesn't grow on trees, and I completely get it. That being said, price point can kind of be an indicator if somebody is willing to come and groom your dog, especially if it is an aggressive dog, for a
$40.
very low amount. They're probably somebody who's trying to dip their toe into the industry and has zero qualifications to be touching your dog.
Yeah.
So as an indicator. So again, always asking these questions. I had one woman, I take a deposit that it is refundable up to 48 hours. And I had this one woman on social media saying, anybody who's trying to take a deposit is scamming you, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, hold on. There's reasonings here. And so it's up to you. Again, the whole buyer beware, it sucks, but it is so true. Like, it's up to you.
Especially in our
Look at the social media, ask for reviews, ask for referrals, ask the professional, regardless of the profession, ask them questions and pick up your spidey senses from there, because that is key to making sure you get a right fit for you, your budget, your fur baby, all the things together.
Yeah.
And also if they're not asking questions. If they're,
But
if
yep,
the
yep,
pet
okay,
professional,
yeah.
right, if the pet professional isn't asking you in-depth questions, that's also something that you need to like.
Yeah.
right.
That is a good point, because I apparently was told that I'm not a normal pet parent, but
We like it. We like you.
We like you.
I and my mom has always taught me to I like to know my dog from top to bottom. So like my previous dog, I knew that when he swung his head to the left and backed up a little, he was jumping on the couch and we had to swing the chihuahua out of the way because he had no hair clearance, you know. So like we would pick up on little things like that, and I want to know my dog in and out. And I think a lot of people, when the trainer comes in, like you mentioned, and there's like, oh, he does that. Okay, this is how to fix it. But you don't know my dog, though. So it might not be the right way.
If you were looking for a trainer and they say, I can fix that, run.
Yeah.
Not good.
Run. You cannot fix anything.
Yeah.
We can manage it, we can remold it, we can, start to learn new behaviors in place of it to encourage a better thing. I cannot fix anything. And if they give you a timeline, no way.
Yeah.
You can't put a timeline on fixing anything. That is a huge red flag.
As much as
Remodel your dog with a hammer.
How we were talking about getting to know your professional. If any facility says that they're not willing to allow you to take a tour, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
To make sure it's clean and well taken care of. And
It is. Yes, we might be running over
Yeah,
time.
it might
You're more welcome
be.
to join.
that's Cassie.
What? Amanda?
What time are you?
Yeah, 12:30, okay.
Yeah, so definitely making sure you're checking.
So yes,
Yeah.
let's get to you.
Yes,
questions. Yes.
absolutely.
I came in late.
You're good.
I'd like to know your names. I don't know.
Oh,
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 yeah.
Let's go reverse order this time.
I'm Jackie, first, yeah, she already knows me.
Victoria Perry. I operate Remington Treat about 3 hours from here, and I also have Victoria's Luxury Dog Grooming.
Kayleigh Bertrand. I am the owner operator of Canine Cutters in Derby, as well as Canine Training Camp.
Sarah Heibel, I'm a national certified master groomer and own Wag with Swag mobile pet grooming.
And I'm Cassondra Smith. I own Club Posh, which is the fear-free mobile grooming. I also have a podcast that we're doing right here for groomers and pet professionals, and I have a booth out there. I started Posh's Memories as a way to honor our fallen fur babies that have crossed the Rainbow Bridge with customized pet hair and or ash memorials.
Chase me down and give me a card before I.
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, since you asked that question, let me ask you a question. What kind of fur baby do you currently have?
Cats.
You cats.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not a professional groomer. I take care of my own cats and I volunteer with a shelter.
It's
And if
amazing.
necessary, I help
That's
with
awesome.
shelter cats that need
Yay.
help.
Oh, good. Good. And any cat questions at all? Because you've got, I know
Cat grooming.
Jackie and myself. You don't have two cats. No,
I don't do
no.
cats.
So the two and cats. Do you have any cat questions?
I tried.
Okay. It's like every other day. Twice we sat down.
Like, first, 2 out of 3.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we have worse statistics.
Yeah.
I all love cats. so.
Great. Is there any other questions before we wrap it up?
I had a question.
Okay.
It was, I noticed a lot of the conversation kept spanning back to, when you guys were talking about like the low cost for like a beginning, a person who might not have the credentials. So what is a good, like you also, I can't remember, I think it was maybe her said you wanted to support somebody who's fresh in the business.
Yeah.
So what's a good line to draw between someone starting out and
And an unprofessional.
So,
Wow. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a theory, and it might just be my theory, but I feel that in our industry, because it's so saturated with hobbyists, they price themselves really, really low, and it makes it very difficult for us as professionals to price ourselves appropriately. I think that there needs to be an industry standard of a starting rate.
Right.
So that way things can be priced more efficiently and appropriately. Are you asking for like a dollar sign?
no, just
No, how do
meaning
you,
like
if you were a pet parent,
experience level.
and I'm Googling like, oh, dog groomers in my area, and I've got one that'll do my Shih Tzu for 40, this one's 65, and this one's 80. How
Because
do I know, like, is the 40 the hobbyist or is the 40 starting out? Is the 80 too high? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's very tricky.
I mean it more so along the lines of like, because all you guys had started at some
Yes.
point. You know what I mean? So maybe even like how much experience would be acceptable before you feel as though a person could be like maybe like on
I
the-
will say
That
to
makes me
you,
very uncomfortable.
I will say this to you. One of my favorite words is like transparency, right? If you know that the person is newer maybe in your
Right.
dealings, or they're very upfront about them being new. I think it's all about how
Yeah.
transparent is that professional telling you, I'm
That's a good
newer.
point. Good point.
Yeah.
And just be open about it and not getting the vibe that they're acting like the expert.
I had that, the
Clear
girl that I
picture.
was
That's-
talking
that's-
to.
Here's a really good
Like,
way to
I
put
don't know how to necessarily take this on, right? I'm willing to, if you're willing to work with me
Right,
as a
understood.
newer person in the industry, I'm willing to work with you. But I have this mentor that I'm gonna bounce ideas off of, or
course.
I'm following this person and I have people who are supporting me.
Right.
That's how, if you know that, but they're coming back to you with, I have mentors, I have people to talk through it with you, then I think I would be comfortable, like, giving that person an opportunity, right?
Right.
And just seeing where it goes from there,
Yeah.
and how they communicate throughout the process, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Are they
Of course.
telling you that, like, I tried, he's maybe past my experience level a little bit, I'm gonna shove him off to my mentor? I think that's how I would look at it.
But I do think that it is incredibly important to be very careful with that, because we are working with living sentient beings. They move, they jump, they get scared. We have sharp objects.
Right.
And I don't know, I can't speak for everywhere, but in my town personally, it is heavily saturated with untrained
dog groomers.
Wannabes.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
I do feel like it's very important that I don't want to shut anybody down because I started with essentially no training.
Exactly.
And I was very naive in that. So I do feel like I want to be,
We don't want to discourage people
I
from
don't.
joining the community, but at the same time, there's
But
gotta be
it's
a
dangerous.
guideline.
It's-
Because
The
every,
training and the
They do.
education and everything
But
like that.
Where did you
Yeah.
try?
I now
know
realize
I
that
didn't
the
really
girl
have
that I hired was
understanding.
too confident. She was,
Yeah.
now I realize that. I'm just today I
And I-
realized
yeah,
she was
that
very
was
confident.
When I
There are
started
some
question,
people
like,
that, yeah, they're like, absolutely, I can do this. This is
Yeah.
awesome. And then they walk in and they're like way over their head, but at that point, they can't back out because you
Right.
also already paid for it.
I did.
Yeah.
And I can imagine a private trainer just going off of what I charge. That's not an easy check to write.
Right,
That's
yeah,
a lot of money to handle.
Somewhere around
Yeah.
$700 so
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
So like, there's that, okay, well, I've already got myself into this. Now I have to figure this out.
So it's not like what
Situation.
Sarah was saying, it's not, and unfortunately, it's not an easy answer. So my boyfriend is a master plumber. He owns his own business, solopreneur, just like I am. And in the plumbing community, it's great. You can call around to a dozen plumbers and you'll rarely get an outlier for price. Standardized, right? And that's one of the biggest things that I'm an advocate for is you don't have to charge my prices. Come on.
We gotta have
Because-
industry standards.
So it's unfortunately you have to take the prices you're looking at and then do a little bit more research and asking the questions. Pick their brains a little bit. Again, like Sarah was saying, if they're not being transparent, they probably don't know.
that's what I was
And
gonna
if
say,
they,
because
it's either they don't know or they do, but they're so stuck in their usually antiquated ways where I've been doing this for 40 years. I don't need to explain myself to you.
Yeah, those
whatever.
are another ones that are.
Right, that's
And those
true,
are the
yeah.
ones that are doing your doodle and chihuahua for a grand total of 85. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I start at 85 an hour and your chihuahua takes 2 hours.
Right.
But, and so it's a hard curve. So it's a 2-part thing. You got a price point. Okay, I can work with that. Or even just saying like, this is your price. Show me why.
Right.
Tell me why. And that's
Expound on
totally
that.
fair. They should
Yeah.
be open to that.
I had a client call and they left a message. Can you please call me back? I have a very rare breed. I wonder if you can groom them. So I was at first as a groomer, I'm sitting there thinking rare breed.
Yeah, what breed
Okay.
is this?
Now what are these people?
You're the
They're
like,
I've got a, I have an Australian Mountain Law.
Yeah, something crazy made up.
Yeah, so I call him and he's like, I have a Caucasian Shepherd. Are you comfortable with grooming him? And I'm like, he's like, have you heard of them before? I'm like, yeah, I think so. They're big and they're really hairy, right? And he's like, yeah. He goes, so what I want you to do, he goes, would you be comfortable? I'm like, well, I want to look it up and see what it is and I can let you know. He's like, well, thank you for that. Do your research because they're a guardian breed. They can be dangerous if they don't have the right temperaments. So he's like, give me a call back. And so I was busy that day, looked it up, gave him a call back. Yeah, he had already stipulated he wants to stay with the dog to make sure that the dog is safe and I am safe. I'm like, yeah, I have no problem with that. I respect that you know your breed and you know what your dog can handle. And he had said that he had groomers, and it was a red flag to him. He had groomers say, oh yeah, no problem, I can do it, without even
Asking
looking
that
up
question,
anything.
knowing that
Yeah.
that dog is a rare breed.
So for
Right.
him, it was a complete red flag, like, yeah, no, I don't feel safe. But then at the same time, he had groomers that had said like, yeah, no
Absolutely
way, I'm not touching this
Right.
and everything.
And hear them out because they have different, like each person operates differently and has different criteria. Like for you, I think that makes perfect sense. For me, nobody's allowed in my salon other than me.
That's what I
And
was
I
gonna say,
appreciate
especially-
like, oh, that's for my safety.
Right.
That is my risk, my responsibility.
Right.
And if I, as a professional, wasn't aware of what I was getting into,
The risk.
wasn't reading the body
Of
language,
course,
sadly,
you
That's on
probably
me.
should,
it's on
yeah.
me if I took that risk and I wasn't professional.
Yeah, that's not cool having like, cause like in this day and age, man, like men with women, you can't be, I wouldn't feel comfortable if my wife was doing this and some dude was like, yeah, I'm coming
Sure,
through
I'm
them
gonna
at
stand
that
behind
point.
you.
And
Yeah.
there's so many things like my insurance will not cover anybody else other than an
That mine is the
employee.
same way.
And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, your dog is putting on a show in front of you, in
In
front of the
front of you,
groomer.
Right.
And as
Yeah,
soon as
they
you
do act
leave,
different.
they are
Different.
either
Yeah.
a nightmare or
The
a
nicest
perfect
dog.
little princess.
Right.
Right.
Usually it's the opposite of what anybody comes to me and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
my
she's
princess,
holding
she
it.
loves
Yeah.
grooming. She's a dom. Like, she sucks. And then if someone's like, no, I'm so sorry, he's gonna be a jerk. I'm like, please leave quickly.
Yeah, your dog is like
It's
super nice.
usually the other because they're smart.
Yeah.
They're like, I act like this. Mom
I
does
get
this.
it.
Cool. You're not my mom. Like, I get it.
Right.
You know. So
I totally get where you're coming from, but this
So,
is
like,
more like.
Yeah.
knowing that
yeah,
you're
yeah,
already
yeah,
grooming
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
That's what she
Yeah.
was saying.
yeah,
Like,
just like hearing
he was
their
calling you
reasons
round.
for it,
Yeah.
because yours makes perfect sense and so does mine.
Oh,
yeah.
Two
No,
totally
I
different
appreciate both
scenarios.
arguments,
Yeah.
and I definitely appreciate that aspect. But me personally, that's just kind of like off on a tangent. I apologize.
No,
I
no,
appreciate
no.
all you guys' input on that. And I'm
Yeah.
just a lowly guy. I just thought it was a good point to bring up.
I guess I saw Janelle pop in, so I guess that's our time.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, probably.
well, are you sticking around?
I'm sticking around, I'll be around. I've
Yeah,
got two
we'll
more
all be
classes
around.
today,
So yeah, like find us if you have
Gift
other
card?
questions.
Yes, I do.
and,
Thank you so much.
I was like,
Hey, you guys did.
Did we answer your questions? I guess that's an
Yes.
obligation. Did we answer all the questions?
Yeah.
Or did we just sit up here and chat for an hour?
Right.
and nothing?
No, it was
Very
good. Thank
informative
you.
Thank you guys.
conversation.
Whoa. How good was that episode? What are some takeaways that really stood out to you that you can implement in your business or your day-to-day life right now, today? Leave a comment below and let me know. Better yet, take a screenshot, tag Positively Unleashed, and one friend that you think can benefit from this episode for a chance to win prizes and more.